Okay, the flooding in Kerr County, Texas, over a week ago has been catastrophic for the area. Even the country has just been heart-ripped because of this. At least 132 people have died from the rapid rising floods, plus an additional 101 missing. Our reporter Anneka Johns went down to Texas last week. She spent the week there with local coverage of the devastation. She's here now to tell us what it was like covering that type of event. This is something that in your career you will remember for the rest of your life. It's such a sad story too.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never covered something like this before. I'm so new in my career that I've never done or gone somewhere and seen, you know, this kind of destruction. So going out there and seeing it for myself was incredible to see, just, you know, the power of what nature can do, but it was absolutely devastating, and those people there are absolutely heartbroken with what they've had to deal with.
Sure, and here is, of course, some of the footage that the nation was just gripped with for that week. And what did you see when you were there? The flooding had pretty much passed before you arrived.
Yeah, so like obviously with that video there, we can see the water's rushing like crazy. And now when we were there, it wasn't like that. The water was still high, the levels were still high, but a lot of it was just what remained. So there were a ton of trees, like thousands of trees, that their bark was completely stripped away. They were thrown onto their sides. There were large piles of debris. There were homes. We went into this one neighborhood. There were 2 homes near the bank of the river. They were completely gone. Everything was gone. All that was left was the concrete foundation. On one of them, literally just the front steps onto their like porch area, that was all that remained. Everything else was washed away. So it was devastating. It was incredible to see, if, you know, again, from like the weather standpoint, just seeing what nature can do. But I mean, those people were heartbroken and just dealing with a lot.
And you talked with some of the people too. Share some of your experiences that way.
Yeah, so I spoke to those who live on the bank of the river, those who have businesses there. I even spoke to one mom. We didn't end up chatting on camera, but we briefly texted back and forth a little bit. Her little girl was at Camp Mystic when everything went down, and she was describing to me just how that entire morning went, how they were figuring out who had made it out of the camp, if they were making it out of the camp.
And her daughter did.
And her daughter, yes, I should say, her daughter did make it out alive, and so she was very grateful for that. But she was saying how her daughter has immense survivor's guilt. Like, she's dealing with a lot, and a lot of those little girls do. But a lot of the business owners, they're trying to deal with what happens next. Their business had 4, 5, 6 feet of water, completely ruined their merchandise. Homes, like I mentioned, were washed away. So these people are just trying to figure out like these next steps for them. What happens now?
So how has this experience changed you?
Oh, that's a deep one.
Yeah.
Because walking into it, I was excited from a journalistic standpoint to go out there and do what my job is, to go out there and talk to people, to do the coverage. But from a more human standpoint, it was hard. I've been reeling with it the past couple of days. Our last day there, I found myself crying as we were leaving Kerr County, because there's so much work left to do there. Like, when it comes to searching with the people, obviously there's stories to tell, but there's so much left to do in that area that it was hard to leave. And I wanted to stay there. I wanted to go out there and help search. I wanted to get my feet dirty again and just get in there to help as much as I can. And I think that's the biggest thing I'm taking away from this is, while we get to come back home, I get to come back home, I get to go back to my normal life, my normal early morning shift. Those in Texas still have to deal with what happened.
Yeah, they have years of recovery coming up. And for those who lost loved ones, I mean, that's a lifetime of hurt.
Yeah. So it's something that, I mean, it touched my heart, and I'm going to keep that experience with me for as long as I live, because it was just eye-opening and life-changing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you experienced firsthand people who went there to help and gave so much that way.
Yeah, and that was so cool too. Like, even some of the residents there were so surprised with how many people showed up to help. I mean, while we were just driving in that area, I saw a Nebraska car, which, I mean, was absolutely insane to see. And there were so many different departments from all over Texas, so many different first responders there. Then there were different organizations who had flown out. My photographer and I ran into someone who was flying from Wyoming to Texas on our same flight, and he was part of a search and rescue crew that was going out there to just help. Like, this is what those organizations were created and meant to do, and so he was heading out there to do his part. We caught up with him a little bit later in the week, and he was describing to us like the conditions they had to go through and everything like that.
And then there was another aspect to this too, because there were people wanting answers. What could have been done so this didn't happen? You were kind of in the middle of that too, right?
A little bit, yeah. I was in one of the press conferences where that was coming up quite often with the first responders, and while those answers aren't here yet, it's frustrating, and those over in Texas are frustrated that the answers aren't. We don't have those answers, and they don't know really what happened yet. They're figuring that out, but their main focus right now is just finding as many people as they can. They said that they're not going to stop until until all these people are found. So
and the search aspect of it is just so overwhelming, though, because you're looking at tons and tons of dirt and mud and debris.
Right, and it's miles upon miles of riverbank, and that's the crazy thing too, is you go into the town away from the Guadalupe River and everything's fine. Everything is totally normal, and then you get closer to the river, and that's where all of this debris is. So they have miles upon miles of water to go through, these large piles of mud and debris. So there's a lot of work to be done out there, and it's just the beginning for them.
And I'm sure you continue to watch this story unfold too, even though you're not there.
Yeah. No, I check every morning. I still get notifications on my phone when we get the updates, because I'm invested now. I care about those people as much as I care about the people here in Salt Lake. So it's definitely, again, touched my heart and changed me for the better.
Well, Anneka, thanks so much for sharing. I know that's a deep one, and you'll carry this experience the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So thanks so much.